Good morning. Hi guys. Welcome in, welcome in. Hi Brandy. Oh my gosh. Welcome to the alley. I guess I'm officially an alley cat now. Now that we are meeting in this post-apocalyptic alley space. But hi. Morning stream. Hey guys. So, I was reviewing the VOD for my redebut, which we did on Sunday. And it'll be up on YouTube later, by the way. And I noticed that the lovely background music that hopefully you can hear right now just like stopped playing randomly. Can you let me know if that happens? Because on Sunday everything looked fine on my end, but the music definitely disappeared. So yeah, just, you know, keep me in the loop if stuff doesn't sound right, because we're in a new space, right? We're in a new space and it's not all gonna be perfect yet. But hi, hello, thanks for joining in. I hope that you've been having a good week. I know that a lot of my announcements have been kind of a fluctuating, rotating, changing basis, but we're fine with that. And then I want to do a morning stream. I like giving you guys options for when you can come say hi. Usually I'm not available at this time in the day. But I know a lot of people end up having to be part of the VOD crew because my normal streams are just a little bit too late for their time zone. So, hi Europe! Methinks you guys can actually be at this one today. But yeah. And then before we move over to the activities planned for today, I just want to remind you guys, I'm thinking maybe we'll do 2 streams today, not back to back. No. But since my schedule has already kind of started changing for the week, I do want to get a couple streams in for sure, things that I'm really passionate about that have to do with the redebut. And so we might, for those of you who have been following what I had scheduled, this morning we're going to do the design review reaction, which is a bit of a mouthful. And then this evening, so when Europe goes to bed, we might do the Ask Me Anything and puzzle stream. So if you guys who are kind of part of the VOD crowd still want me to be able to answer your questions during the Ask Me Anything stream, I'm gonna pin the link to the questions website so that you guys can be posting your questions. They're all anonymous, by the way. You can be posting your questions kind of while we go through this stream, because the idea and the reason I want to do this stream yesterday is that we're going to kind of lay the groundwork for the kinds of questions you guys might have in terms of like things related to my lore, my design, stuff like that. So there's going to be a lot of information in this stream that might answer some of the questions I've already gotten. But for anything that you're just curious about, anything, I'm going to pin the link. Ask your... how about this? AMA questions go here. That is a big website. Pin it. Ta-da! Whew. Let me just click that real quick, see if it works. Yish! Yeah! Yish! I think it does. Okay, so now that we gotten that out of the way. Perfect. Good stuff. Yeah, so go to this website and ask me questions so that I can answer your questions. And we can kind of, instead of, I didn't have the ability to do like a full, like, lore thing for this redebut, and I really want you guys to kind of get the vibes. This is the same lore that's posted in my Discord. There's kind of a little lore video just saved on my Twitch that you can go watch. It's all the same information, but now we get to like live it. So I wanted you guys to just really have a good base for what we're doing here. So yeah, so this is a good stream to kind of just like get your bearings on how this works. Yeah, and I've already gotten some good questions in the anonymous Ask Me Anything grouping, and I'm excited to answer them maybe this evening. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is move over to our other screen. Let's go! Come on! Okay, so the way this works is that right there, across the screen for me, that is Squiiji_3D on Twitter, and I believe just Squiiji here on Twitch. And last August, they reviewed my design because they held, what's it called? They're a character designer. They have experience doing character design. Hold on, I want to swivel. I want to look at you guys. How about that? They have experience doing character design work, and they run this series as part of their content where they like review, they call it like a boot camp, like a character design boot camp, and you can submit your designs and they will talk about things from a designer's perspective, what they think is going well, what they would suggest you change to make your design a little bit more cohesive, a little bit more readable, a little bit more distinct, which I think is really cool. So I had submitted this design a long time ago, and it's not like you submit your design and like you're in the next boot camp. So I waited, and then shout out to Kira Mint, one of my mooties on the socials, because she messaged me one day and she was like, hey, you're gonna be in a Squiiji video. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, I saw you in a thumbnail. So Squiiji ended up reviewing my design last August, and I have saved that footage, and we're going to talk about it. And I'm just going to kind of react to I watched it live because Kira gave me the heads up, which was very nice, very kind. So I went and I watched it. Actually, I don't want to lie. I don't know if I caught it live because I think I was busy at the time the stream was actually happening. But I did go back later and I watched it. So I've already seen this. So this is not like a first reaction, but it has been several months at this point. And I'm just going to, before we play this, I'm just going to preface this by saying that my design that we have redebuted reflects none of the suggestions that Squiiji made. However, some of the things we talk about might be that some of Squiiji's designs could influence future changes to my visage. So yeah, I just thought it'd be interesting to react back the other direction. If you cannot hear this video once I start playing it, please let me know, because you need to be able to hear what Squiiji's saying, and it won't be captioned because it's not coming through my microphone, unfortunately. So please let me know if you cannot hear Squiiji. But yeah, we're going to jump right in. And I'm going to pause it here and there so that I can reflect and talk about the things that Squiiji is talking about with my design, and kind of like where Squiiji's coming from as a designer, and then where I was coming from with my own inspirations.
Pay attention in case I just randomly say it.
You should be able to see my mouse too.
That's okay. We're so used to me saying it that it probably won't set off any flags for us, and we might not notice it super immediately.
It's me!
I say it so often, it just becomes background noise. But let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. This is Cheeky Lemon, she, her. xCheekyLemonx. My computer is freaking out right now. It's been doing this for like a good bit of the stream and I've been ignoring it, but it keeps doing this thing where it lets me see all of my icons on my desktop through whatever program is open. Interesting. Cheeky Lemon, is this within TOS? Almost. It's so close. I think the only thing that would need to be done for it to be fully within TOS is just going like this and filling in these areas. But almost. It's pretty close. Because you can show the legs.
Okay, so I want to start right in. I really like that EG immediately picked up on the thigh situation going on here, because if you're going to work with a character designer, you want them to be aware of the TOS of the platforms you intend to use the work on. So EG clocking this is a very good sign. However, I don't know if EG's correct in saying that just filling this in would make it TOS appropriate, because some references I've seen say you need to have like the whole like the whole crotch line filled in, and my crotch line starts like right here. So I feel like it might need a little bit more hip. I think this is okay if you're in a bathing suit, but I think for actual TOS, I would need to have quite a bit more filled in, just because of how low my crotch line actually is, because this is quite a high cut. But the other thing is I don't want to do this. Because so when you are in a situation where your design is not TOS, you have several options. You can change the design completely, like just change those pieces of it so that it's not a situation anymore. Or you can do like a cover-up situation, which is, I want to do that second one. There's reasons that my pants are the way they are. I did this intentionally. These, I'm going to talk about this, like we're going to piece this out more as we go, but a lot of these outfit pieces are not like custom made by me. They're assets I got off of a website called Booth, and then I tailored them to within the TOS of the items. I tailored them to fit my vision for myself. So I'm like a seamstress. But these pants don't come with these holes. I did that. That was very intentional. And actually, something that's really cool is that the designer of these pants, the Booth artist, when I credited them, they ended up seeing the design and they actually really liked that I did this. So that is very intentional. And then the other thing, I don't know if you can see that. Let's see how much of this shows. Yeah, the other thing that's a problem is that it's like all the way around the back too. So if I was gonna do this cover-up situation, there's a lot. It's everywhere, guys. It's everywhere. So this is not my favorite, but if you can see like the comments going, there's some on the top and the bottom of the screen. Some people did like this, like they didn't hate this, but for me, it becomes a thing of like, well, what is this yellow? Like, because without the yellow here, it's very obvious. Like, oh, we have belts, we have pants with a hole in it. But then if you put this yellow here, like, what is that? Is that underwear? Is that the pants? Like, it just doesn't. I don't hate the way this looks, because truthfully, I would like to have more yellow in my design, because there's not actually a lot of yellow going on in the areas you kind of see more so. Most of my yellow is like, you know, my bottom half, except for my lovely nails. Teehee. Teehee. They're yellow. Naturally. I don't paint my nails. They're naturally yellow, but not like a gangrene yellow, like a nice lemon yellow, genetically speaking. But yeah, so I don't hate the idea of having more yellow in my design. It's just this particular placement of yellow doesn't make sense to me. So if I was going to edit this design, I don't think I would do it with yellow. But also I don't want to do that, and I'll like, Iji's gonna say the thing that is the reason I have these holes on my pants. But yeah, I am planning on doing a cover up for this situation. So do not worry, do not fear, Iji. Though I am streaming right now with this model, I am aware that this is a problem. I just haven't gotten around to do the cover up work yet. But yeah, that was great. I'm really glad that Iji clocked that. As a designer, you should be pointing that out when you see stuff like that, because it is a big deal, and people get stumble over that all the time with their designs
in those regions. But yeah, it's pretty close to TOS. That's a hell of a graphical bug. Please no more bugs. I've had enough bugs in my house. Are you hovering near the taskbar? I'm not. If I hover near the taskbar, that doesn't really do that either. How strange. Yeah, no hip gaps. We can't have hip gaps, unfortunately. So, Cheeky Lemon. My OC is a genetically mutated lemon-lion hybrid human. She lives in a post-apocalyptic version of Earth's future.
Hold on, I just had a thought. Let's turn the volume up all the way. There you go.
As a resource scavenger. She cuts her hair herself, poorly, because she doesn't like long hair.
Okay, this is my hairstyle. There's I want to show you something. I'm trying to think of the easiest way to do it. But two things about my hair. I wanted a very choppy, hold on. Let me recenter for this conversation. I wanted a very, oh, that's kind of worse. I wanted a very like choppy look for my hair because I do cut it myself. I'm not great at cutting bangs though, so these tend to be long and in my face. But I put some of it up because there's just so much of it. And then I do cut it myself, so it's kind of choppy. But yeah, and I want to show you guys something that was kind of intentional and is kind of something I've been wrestling with in terms of my own design for a while. Hold on, let me move over so I can show you. Oops, I'm too big. I'm a really big now. Okay, I need to open up another program. Oop. Oh golly, Squiiji. Squiiji, no! Okay, so then what if I... Oh, brother. Okay, we're fine. We're fine. Okay, so I've got my little canvas here, and I want to show you guys something. I'm trying to figure out how to do this. Meanie. Because I don't think this is a part of my design that was very intentional on my part, but I don't think it comes across the way I want it to. Okay, so I'm gonna set up two things. Yep. And then I'm opening up my drawing program so I can show you guys something. Ooh. And then oh wait, actually let's do this the other way around. I know you can't see what I'm doing right now, don't worry. I'm prepping something. I kind of thought I would need this, but I didn't. I was like, maybe I won't do that. But now I'm doing it, so I could have prepared this early, but you know. So let's talk about my original design. It was really nice, actually. I didn't hate my original design. Is this a bad picture? How do we feel about this? No, it's not. Okay, okay, I'm gonna show you guys. Ooh, actually, let's do it this way. I have an even better idea. Hold up. I was kind of thinking of putting music on this screen, but I also kind of like just hanging out without music. That way, if you guys are like lurking and you're playing your own games and stuff, you're not just like randomly hearing music conflicting with your game. Okay, where's a normal schmormal? Do I not have a normal? There's no way I don't have a normal schmormal. I guess I don't have a normal schmormal. This will have to be close enough. No! It's fine. Okay, you're gonna go over here. This is kind of cool, actually. So you guys can get the full picture, kind of. Okay, let me make sure you guys can see so you can pick up what I'm putting down. So then if I go back over here and I just like start drawing. Nope. There we go. Okay, so do you see what we're looking at here? These are my girls, or my designs. Or can we back it up just a little bit. Back it up. Yeah. Okay, so these are my 3 designs. Technically, this one had some alternate versions of it, but it's just basically what we're working with. And I just want to show you some of like, I'm going to keep this up and then I'll refer back to it every once in a while. It's the same base image that I gave to EG to talk about my new design, but here are my old designs. This one we just retired. This one has been retired for a while because it had its own sets of issues. It was really cute though. I really liked my OG design. Just didn't fit in with my lore at all. But I want to show you something. So my logo, as you can see right here, my logo. Oh, I need a brush. What the? My logo. See that guy? My logo is basically just a lemon. And what I have done with my design, and this is more obvious on my original design, is I wanted the hair to kind of be in a lemon shape. Oh, it's not going to draw over the 3D asset. See how my OG hair kind of has like a lemon shape? Like, because it sticks out? That was very intentional and I wanted that. My second design had the buns. So, you know, it had like the lemon. Oh, I can't draw on the 3D assets. But these buns, whoops. These buns were kind of like, oh, fruit, you know, like we had that going on. And then for my current design, it doesn't have the same lemon shape as my OG design. I really kind of missed the lemon hairstyle shape thing I had going on, but I'm still kind of getting that lemon shape. You see that? So my hair being flared out like this is not just like, that's my genetics, the way my hair works. It is in part because I'm trying to get that shape, which I think is kind of cool. I think it's kind of a cool touch. It's not something that I put in my design stuff to EG, and it's also not something she picked up on. So to me, that means that people aren't really catching this vibe, which is okay, but it is something that I was very intentional about in my own designing. I kind of wanted that shape, that hair shape. I wish I could have it more like distinctly, but that's okay. It's not like a big deal. Okay, so let's go back to EG and see what they say. Hi, Danny. Billie Jean's not your lover. Oh my golly. Dink donk. Hi. Hope you're having a good day. Okay, let's move that. I'm talking about my design. We're talking about my design today. And if you have any questions for the AMA later, you should ask them at the link. Okay, so EG's in the middle of like reading the lore I sent her.
The jacket was actually a full hoodie once, but she cut off the hood and cropped it after several rips happened so that it wouldn't snag anymore.
Yeah.
She found the plants/boots recently in an army warehouse, more cyberpunk style because futuristic, but she had to cut holes in the pants to have them fit and used yellow tape so they wouldn't fray. Oh, like she's almost like bias taped her pants back together. Interesting.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Pants and sleeves, although maybe she shouldn't sew them, she just taped them. Just tape. Holes in the pants and sleeves also serve extra purpose, allowing sun to hit her skin since she's part plant and can photosynthesize. Just hoping I'm delivering on the themes of futuristic, post-apocalyptic lioness and lemon in that order of importance. Found that many people who I've showed the design to don't get it, and I'm at a loss for how it could be improved.
Yeah, so that's the basics of my design. Them's the basics. And then EG touched on some of the bigger EG touched on some of the bigger pieces, so let me move these guys to the side. So, when looking at my design, there's several layers to it. Several items. So, like, these boots... I need a pen. Stop it. These boots... They, do not really match the vibe of post-apocalyptic because they're very nice looking, right? And kind of the same with these pants, with all of their belts, especially like we got all the belt stuff going on. Okay. So the way it works is I didn't like make these assets from scratch. I edited them, and color wise, I feel like I got kind of close to being cohesive. But, like, fabrics-wise, it doesn't feel cohesive at all. And I kind of wanted that because I feel like in post-apocalyptic, you're not gonna have full outfits that match well. So some of this is intentional. And you can really see, like, at the top of my outfit, there is a lot of, like, instances of, like, ripping and stuff. Especially like where I said that this used to be like a full jacket, but the idea is that it's so let me back up. This is going to be word salad otherwise. What I do when I'm not hanging out with you guys is I am uniquely suited to be part of the scavenger faction of survivors. So we have basically, if you watch my lore video from way back when I first debuted, there's an alien species called the Cynids. They're organic cybernetic aliens, and we had a war with them. We did not win, and then we were facing like huge extinction rate levels of like danger. So what happened, I'm like summarizing my lore right now, right? So what happened was the scientists at the time were like, well, we need to preserve species. And we get kind of like, if you know anything about the plot of Trigun, we get kind of like the Trigun dilemma where they create this like, in Trigun, they create this like ship, like an ark, and then they put like specimens of different creatures and like plants and stuff in this ark so that they can all like survive. Kind of that idea, except for in my background, the ark is people. And so the scientists were like, well, people are really good at surviving. People are probably going to live. So then they made these little like packages, like DNA packages, and they put them inside like volunteers. It's kind of a hard thing to, let me face you when I'm talking about this. It's kind of a hard thing to understand. Like, I don't understand the medical stuff all around it. But kind of a cool idea, right? So like, we're really good at surviving. So they put harmless packages of DNA into people that then could be retrieved later. So like, oh, you know, we make it on the other side of this whole thing. The DNA gets retrieved by the scientists, and then we can like replant corn and like all these plant species that were going extinct. Or animal species. So it's either or. You might get some animal species, some plant species, some of them both, but it's not like a lot. Like, they spread it out. But then what happened is we lost the war, and we didn't have the ability to get the DNA packages back out of the volunteers that they had been implanted into. So what happened is time just kind of went on, and unintentionally, that DNA mutated in the hosts, not in a way that was harmful to them, but in a way that meant it was actually passed down. So we're now like millennia later, and I was born naturally with my hybrid form. So I'm not like a lab rat. I was born this way. She was born this way. I was born this way with my lemon DNA and my lion DNA. I'm like that now. So in the version of Earth that we're in now, there's not a lot of purebred humans. Most of the people on Earth now are some form of hybrid. It's not all like lemon lions. I'm just one variant. You can have like wolf hybrids. You can have like deer hybrids. You can have people that just have a plant hybrid. But to make our society make sense, because like humans are now the minority on this planet, and we are now overrun by alien species. We've kind of tried to create a society based on, did I say wolf? Yes, I did. Yes. As an aside, there's a place, I don't know if I kept this actually, but there was a place in my Discord before where I had like a self-insert. So if you wanted to write yourself into my lore, you could. Because since my lore deals with like this hybrid variant system, there's a lot of room for people to write themselves in. But yeah, so if you feel inspired, you can go do that. But what ended up happening is that the structure of society in post-apocalyptic Earth is that you have a function to society based on your hybrid form, based on your skill sets. And I am a big cat who also has plant variation. So I'm very what's the word? It's not sturdy, but like El Gata. Sure, yeah. I'm very survivable because people who were born with plant variants, with plant DNA, most of them can photosynthesize. So technically I can't get all my nutrients from photosynthesizing because I'm not full plant, but I can go a long time without eating real food because I can photosynthesize. So as long as there's sunshine, I can get my nutrients that way. So getting back to like my design here and some of the things that we're talking about with it, I tried to have ways where there was like places where my skin is showing. And I don't know if you know this, but the thighs, that's a really good place to take in nutrients because it's such a wide, place with some direct lines right to like your bloodstream and stuff. So yeah, so I very intentionally wanted my thighs exposed for that reason of like I'm probably trying to photosynthesize a lot to sustain myself. But I'm trying to balance it with actually being more covered because I am a scavenger. So there's ruins all over the world now of these old human cities. And what I do and other people like me in my faction is we go around and we scavenge these remaining cities and we try to find useful items for the community, or the community send us out looking for specific items and we try to find them and bring them back. So that's my function as a member of society. So because I'm a scavenger and I'm going into all these buildings and stuff like that, I'm trying to balance having exposed areas for my photosynthesizing with having covered areas for the purpose of like scrounging around in a building. You see what I'm saying? So for me, there was a fine line there, because I was like, well, I could just like have more areas exposed. But then I'm like, oh, and I forgot another expo. Well, no, I did circle it, like the holes in my sleeves. But I didn't want to be so exposed that it was unbelievable that I could be running around among rubble. But I didn't want to be so clothed that we're losing the essence of me being a plant and needing to have sun hit my skin, if that makes sense. But yeah, so all the like mismatch of my clothing, I feel like I'm kind of explaining this really out of order because EJ's going to talk about this and then I'll have to re-explain it. But I'm on a mental train, so we're going to take this choo-choo to wherever it leads. Hold on. No, it's okay. I can watch full, personally, I can watch full videos with no music. So I hope you guys are doing fine. If you need music, pick some of your own, play some background music. It's fine. But I wanted kind of a piecemeal look. So like my sweater looks very messy and dirty because I've had it for a long time. Like the bottom of it's kind of fraying and is like dirty. And then I have these holes on the sides. I can show, wait, see, like there's holes. Oh. That I've tried to kind of patch back together just so my whole entire jacket doesn't fall apart. But that's all from like scrounging around, right? Like stuff snagging on my clothes. RIP! So yeah, so what used to be a full hoodie became like a cropped hoodie. And then different pieces of my clothes ripped different places. And my shirt is just kind of like a random shirt. Because in this world, you don't have a lot of options. You just have to wear what fits. Or you can be one of like the more natural factions, because we have factions. I want to explore this so bad in my lore, but we have factions. There's disagreement in our society of like if we should be maintaining our humanality, if that's a word, or if we should be embracing our animalistic sides. So there are factions in our society that don't even like wear clothes. They wear like leaves and stuff, like they're not indecent, but like I wear clothes because I'm embracing humanity. But I don't have like a lot of options because we're not like making clothes. Like a lot of these skills lost. So I feel one of the things Squiiji's going to mention is how I don't really look the part for normal post-apocalyptic like rags. Full rags, but that's because I wanted to have this kind of idea of like there is a futuristic element to my lore, and these pants and boots are military clothes. They're military surplus that I found while I was scavenging, and they fit me. But these pants didn't totally fit me. I have a fat ass, so so the boots fit me, and I can just wear the boots. If you look really closely, I don't have socks. See that? I don't know if you guys knew that. I don't have socks. I'm not wearing socks. I haven't decided yet if I want there to be like lion paws, toe beans underneath these boots. I don't think so. I think I have normal feet. We might have a more like furry version of me later at some point, but for now it's like, I hate socks too. Well, I don't hate socks, but they're just, it's not something that I've incorporated into my outfit. Also, I think you guys missed your opportunity for Sniffa because last year, maybe it was 2 years ago, when I had like a beach stream, my beach outfit was never fully unlocked, so we didn't get the Sniffa. Sorry. But yeah, so my pants and my boots are military clothing, hence the like PS29, P529, you know, like all that stuff. That really has nothing to do with my lore except for like these are military clothing, but I have a fat ass. So these pants didn't fit me, and I had to cut these huge holes in the sides so my big chonkin cat thighs could actually fit into the pants. And then what I told Squiiji, which is kind of the going story, is that this yellow stuff is like tape. And I just taped the edges because they were fraying. So I don't really want to cover this up because it has such a, like, attached meaning to, like, my lore. Like, of me being able to photosynthesize, like, oh, sun, green, yes, energy. Photosynthesize, but also because, like, these pants weren't made for me. Right? So by having to have huge honking holes in the sides, that to me is very, like, it's intentional, but it's not ideal. And also I liked the high utility of these pants. Like, I like the belts because then when I'm scavenging, maybe I'm putting stuff in them. You know what I mean? So I liked all of that. That was very intentional to me. But my shirt is just like a whatever shirt. My hoodie is just like a whatever hoodie. It's just stuff that fit me at the time. So there's no super cohesiveness between my clothing items. Oh, and I have gloves to protect my hands. But there's no super cohesiveness between my clothing items. It's just whatever fit me at the time. And for those of you who are here right now, I'll give you a little sneak, like a hidden thing of my lore. This is not really well explained. This thing on my neck that I'm wearing, it's a tracker. This is a tracker collar. Not for the reason you would think. But I'll get into that later, because it's not relevant right now. Girl gets energy from her ass. Yes, I do! I do! That was gonna be my guess. That it's a tracker. Yeah, so I feel like people kind of get that idea. That I am wearing this tracker. This tracker, okay, I'll tell you. This tracker is, attaches back to something in my community so that they can find me, so that they know where I am. Because I often spend long sections of time outside of the community base when I'm scavenging. So that just that's a safety thing for me. This is really old tech. But I wear it. That's why it never leaves my outfit. So I have a beach outfit. Do I have it readily available? Question mark. Where's my beach outfit? Oh, this one doesn't have the shirt on. I don't have a good example for you right now. But even on my beach outfit, I have the tracker because that's just a very important part of my lore. So I don't take this off. I wear this. But yeah. So there's interesting pieces for sure. And then we're gonna go back to Squiiji's. I never know if she wants to be called Squiiji or EG, but I know she answers to both. But we're gonna go back to them so that they can keep tearing apart and critiquing my the pros and cons of what's happening. Also, I don't know if you know this. Let me see if I can just as an aside that I'm really proud about. Let's get this out of the way so we can go back to Squiiji. But here, I want to show you something. This leaf, I did this, and this is kind of based off of a lemon leaf. My old design, the leaves were more generic leaves. These are very like lemon leaves. So it's very intentional. There's a lot of intentionality put into my design. Okay, so with that background, let's listen to Squiiji.
So my biggest critique for something being post-apocalyptic is that we tend to associate that type of trope with being much more grungy. Man, we're really having to grunge everybody up here, because this is a fun combination of ideas. But we need to grunge things up a little bit more usually for things to feel post-apocalyptic. It does feel very Arknights, I do agree with that, but Arknights is still kind of not post-apocalyptic, but like post-major crisis feeling. Post-apocalyptic, as an aesthetic, usually is something that we clearly discern from a design because it incorporates elements of rust and elements of decay and unraveling.
That's in her stream, not mine.
In a post-apocalyptic established setting, it's usually assumed that all the elements of your clothing are being scavenged and being repaired and patched by yourself.
Yeah.
But that does get sort of tricky when we have a character like this who seems to be very resourceful as far as repairing their clothes and keeping them in good shape.
Yeah.
That is usually the thing that makes it easiest for us to know that a character is in that. Post-apocalyptic would not have synthetic knits unless the downfall of society was recent. Ah, see, that's also a good idea. A good thought there, yeah. Synthetically knit clothing would probably be less common. You could have hand-crocheted stuff, though, if you know how to crochet. Open shoulders kind of convey the scavenger vibe more. Really? Interesting.
Yeah, my shoulders are open.
Open. This might be a funny...
Okay, I want to talk about something. So, Squiiji's definitely picking up on what I'm putting down, in that I also agree that ideally I would want there to be more grunginess, and she's gonna start suggesting things like I put rips different places and I just try to grunge it up. The problem with my design is I have a lot of conflicting elements. So I don't know if you noticed, but I'm like a lion, right? I'm like a cat. So because I'm a creature variant that's very like nimble and agile, I am not getting into these situations where I'm having like these rips happening on my clothing all the time from like carelessness. This hoodie is just because it was baggier. So, but these pants, they're like skinnier on my skin. So when I'm being very agile and I'm running around in this rubble, I'm not having all of those kinds of like ripping issues as much because I'm personally not clumsy like that. Like I'm not. So it was hard for me to decide, like, which direction do I want to go with this? Am I trying to sell like apocalypse or am I trying to sell like cat? Because to me, a cat isn't going to be like all scraped up and stuff unless she was like getting into fights, right? But I'm pretty safe. Like I'm pretty like not in fights. So to me, my clothes would be kind of preserved. The other thing that was really hard, so it's my three top elements of design are post-apocalyptic, futurism, and feline, right? And lemon. But those kind of four things I was trying to work into my design, what I'm like saying down here. So I know that it would sell better as post-apocalyptic if my clothes were all like ripped and of a certain like burlap feeling material. But I also have to sell futurism because this war happens several centuries into the future of like where Earth is at right now for you guys. So the tech is just better. The clothing, the textiles are better. So this clothing, though I'm finding it centuries later, is very well preserved. And there's like science behind that I would need to like expound on a little bit more. But yeah, so I'm trying to create a sense of like, yes, this war happened kind of quickly. So there was like rapidity involved in like the preservation of these clothing items, but also they're just made really well because we're further along in time. So yeah, so all those things are really hard to sell, but each is gonna have some really good ideas for me. I just didn't end up doing very many of them, and I'll tell you why each one that she brings up. Some of them are things I am thinking of doing, and I'll tell you why as well. But yeah, let's let EG talk.
I opened Pinterest just to see if I have anything that's pulled for like a post-apocalyptic aesthetic. Just to see if I can make better suggestions for it. Because I feel like right now the fashion is what's making the setting confusing for me. Where futuristic, we are getting futuristic out of the clothing.
Yep.
So it's sort of techwear inspired.
Yep.
But I feel like a lot of the clothing that we associate with post-apocalyptic also ends up being kind of military adjacent, because despite a lot of military clothing not always inherently being very well made, it tends to be pretty durable.
Yeah.
So
that's what I'm talking about.
Military cuts of clothing I feel like might push us in the right direction of that. I don't know. Some kind of like scrap armor, metal sign. Yeah. Oh.
I feel like if I feel like something that I could do, I would not be opposed to. Because I feel like there is kind of a military feel. Not like, it's not, we would be taking, so here's the problem. Like, it's military of the future, right? So E.G.'s talking about having things that are recognizable for military today, but when you watch sci-fi, the military of the future is kind of dressed differently. And I'm more like military of the future. So that's like, I'm trying to sell so many concepts that just people are having a hard time grasping. And I understand that that's very hard. But something I would be willing to do to maybe like make this sell as more military is perhaps edit the pants so that they have some form of more like camo pattern on their base. Like maybe like keeping them black, but kind of working in like a dark, subtle like camo effects, and people will be like, oh, there's like, it's like there's military there. Because I feel like when people see camo, they're like military. You know what I mean? So that is a good suggestion, and I do think that I would like people to understand that these clothing items on my lower half, which you don't see a lot, so it's less important, but these clothing items are supposed to be like reminiscent, like they're supposed to be military feeling attire, which is why I'm wearing them, because I scavenged it because there was a lot of that left over, military surplus.
Wait, yeah, so being a scavenger, I feel like could also be more integrated into the design in that manner too, where now that I'm thinking about that, like we're thinking futuristic in some capacity, but also scrap. I'm thinking of,
yeah, those are hard to blend.
What is that? Final Fantasy 12? Doesn't Vaughn have like a weird like scrap armor? No, that's not what I'm thinking of. His armor is really like normal. There's a Final Fantasy character who is like a scrap collector who has a really weird arm covering thing that is made out of like scraps that they've found.
Just so you know, I don't know if it's like if it's noticeable. It's more noticeable in the RPG design that I revealed during my re-debut, but I was inspired heavily by Yuffie from Final Fantasy 7. I like Yuffie's design, and I wanted something that felt a little whimsical like that. I do like Yuffie's design.
I don't know what it is. Don't use real name? Huh? Oh yeah, no, don't use your real name in the Google Drive. Use the name of your VTuber or your username. Just something I can refer to you as. So you'd probably put Art Fun in as your name. No, don't give me your legal names, please, Shermates. Please, pretty please.
Oh, I just realized something. Guys, I said that EG's talking wasn't going to be captioned because it can't pick it up through my stream. But EG captions their own streams. So if you're looking over there, those are EG's captions. So if you're having trouble hearing EG, you can be reading what they're saying. It's above their head. I forgot about that, but I love that EG does that. Let's go, people who do captioning. Let's go.
Also thinking about like futuristic scavengers that I know of in media, because those are often good references for how to design around those tropes. I'm thinking of Cal Kestis from Star Wars. That's crazy that we've done Star Wars twice back to back, but that is like a dystopian futuristic place.
Oh, dystopian's a good word too.
Where he is working is very kind of post-apocalyptic feeling.
Maybe that's the word I want to run with now too. Maybe post-apocalyptic is confusing to people, and if I said dystopian, that would read better. Hold on. Where's my... Oh, I see. Not even open. I want to write that down. I'm taking notes. Oops, don't worry about it. It's gonna look bad for a second. It does that every time I open up a program on the same window as the video. So don't worry about it. Okay, I'm writing something down. Post-apocalyptic versus dystopian. Yeah, I feel like dystopian might be a good... I've always said post-apocalyptic because, there was a war, like a huge war. So, like, that's a form of apocalypse. I mean, I don't know. I might have to think about that. Because I might be selling myself weird. And maybe people would get it better if I just said dystopian instead of post-apocalyptic. Because I do think that lends itself more to something that's not necessarily what I'm going for. Because you could even say like cyberpunk, like that series is dystopian, but they're not all grungy. You know what I mean? But I do want to look grungy because like the whole earth is in ruins. Like it wasn't an apocalypse in the sense of like destroy everything, but it's definitely like it's ruinous, you know? So I want grunge elements, but maybe it'd be easier if I told people my lore was dystopian and not post-apocalyptic. I don't know. I'll have to think about that.
And I think what makes him end up feeling like a scavenger is the fact that he is wearing armor. It's padded armor, so it's not like heavy armor. And he wears ponchos, which I think ends up feeling practical, but also futuristic in the way that they do the trim for it. Cables or wire opposed to belts would lend to a scavenger. Ray at the beginning of the sequels is a scavenger. That's also true. And her clothing is a little bit more like decayed and worn as a result. I feel like having any like sci-fi reference we can find will have good opportunities for characters that are scavengers and also in that post-apocalyptic feeling future. But yeah, I feel generally what we're missing is a lot of those scavenger types of clothings also feel a little bit more flowy, a little bit more open air. Let me think. If I'm a scavenger, things that would be important to have on me at all times would be some amount of protective wear, because you're probably going to be crawling on things and climbing things and getting into things that you're technically not meant to. So immediately I'm starting to think of protective equipment, like having some sort of like scavenged, if you're gonna have scavenged armor, having something that's scavenged for like knee pads, and maybe they don't match because you couldn't find two that were the same kind. So you've got one knee pad that's one shape, one knee pad that's another, and like maybe this one is like almost like a volleyball style knee pad.
Yeah, so I liked this suggestion. And yeah, so on the one hand, I don't want flowy clothing because I feel like that's very anti me being a cat. Because I don't think, I mean, you can do whatever you want, but to me, cat designs are more sleek. You know what I mean? And sleek and flowy don't work well together. And I think it would get in the way of me being an agile creature if I had clothing that was just like, ooh, you know, like billowy. So while I understand that that clothing style is more of like scavengery, like dilapidated world feeling, I don't want that, because to me that's like the very Edna mode, like no capes, like it's just stuff that'll get caught. Like why, like even these belts are a little bit like like if I'm running around these could snag on stuff. So I really wanted clothing items that weren't gonna snag, and if it was something that was snaggable, it has holes in it. So like these sleeves, because they're like billowy, they're very snaggable, so they have holes. But my pants aren't snaggable. These holes again are because of my fat ass. So yeah, I'm trying to, that was a very hard thing to balance, like being an agile creature who wouldn't have those issues, and also trying to stay true to references, like sci-fi references of existing media, because that's hard to balance, you know. That is hard to balance. Take it away, EG.
Where it's like fabric.
Oh, but yeah, this knee pad thing, that's a good idea. I'm considering this, because the other thing I like about this knee pads, and I think EG's gonna say this too, is that they break up a very boring area of my design. And they would bring some of this gray down into the pants area, which I think is a necessary thing. Okay, so wait. More notes. Hold on, let's do it this way. EG review notes. Post. Oops. I'm typing this in my secret Discord. I have a planning Discord that I use. I call it my garage. I'm typing this there because I do think I'm going to update this design a little bit. And I think the way I'll do it is by actually reflecting some of the things EG talks about. Ooh, thank you for checking in, Danny. Oh, Hi, Yowie Wizard. Welcome in. We're talking about my design. We're reviewing the feedback EG gave me. We're almost May. So we've been 4 months. August, December, November, October, September. It's been like 8 months since Squiiji gave me this feedback, and we're reviewing it now that we've finally begun to live into this design. And Squiiji was just saying that some knee pads might be a good idea to sell, kind of like a something armoring in my design to kind of sell that I'm a scavenger. And I like this suggestion because armor on my arms or like upper body I feel would get in my way, but this feels very practical because I would be kneeling down a lot. Oh my goodness, hi. Yeah, I had to get rid of my lick emote to make space for my new 3D emotes. But yeah, welcome in. That is a very cute lick emote. Moth. Okay, hold on, I was writing a note to myself. As you were. Post-apocalyptic versus dystopian, and then we had gray mismatched knee pads, and then I had the idea of maybe subtle camo patterning on pants. Okay, so that's so far feedback that things that I would take from EG's suggestions that I think are very like apropos and actually fit into like what the story I'm trying to convey, you know. Okay, keep talking, EG.
Tricky for like skating, but then this other one is metal, and like your dominant leg gets the metal one because that one's gonna be more protecting, and you can see there's padding associated with it. Also of importance to somebody who is a scavenger is going to be, how are we transporting the items that you scavenge? Do you have a backpack?
I have a bag.
Do you have some sort of side bag? I feel like a backpack or like a back pouch of some sort, or like even like if it's just like a big fanny pack or something.
I have like a Santa bag.
Beneficial. Make those pants leather too, like keep the shape, make them suede, soft leathers that's comfy to wear against the skin. That could be interesting. We could convey that probably just through texture, right? Suede tends to get that little bit of like, not that sharp, but like it gets this like little bit of like a soft.
This pants texture stuff is not relevant to me. I wouldn't do that.
I'm trying to soften it a little bit. Yeah. Some tools to break things down. Yeah. Adding a little bit more of that practicality in would be good. Man, I am struggling with the fact that since your character...
When we're talking about like bags and stuff, that's like, yes, I have one. That's not going to be in my VTuber design though. I've seen designs where like the dude is actually wearing a backpack. It kind of looks cool, but in terms of streaming, it just gets in the way so badly. So while that is a practical thing that would kind of sell my story, and maybe I would put it in some like key art or on a ref sheet, I would not wear it on my model. But then when we're talking about tools, I'm really like, again, because of certain things about my design that conflict with each other in terms of motif, I wouldn't have tools as much because I'm strong and I have nails. I have lion nails. They're normally retracted. My nails are kind of retractable like a cat, which is not really, I don't think that's a thing lions can do. I don't think big cats can retract their claws, but I can. And my nails are normally retracted, but when I need them, I can distend them, or whatever the word is. Untract them. Protrude them. So yeah, so like in terms of being able to get into stuff, yes, they can. Lions can retract their claws. I didn't think big cats could. I thought that was I want to Google this right now, actually. The video's gonna go crazy. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Don't worry about the washed outness. There's a reason it's doing that. Okay, hold up. Can lions retract their claws? Yes! Let's go! I didn't know that! Okay, so that's super cool. I thought big cats could not. Which big cat cannot retract their claws? The cheetah is the only big cat that cannot fully retract its claws. Okay. Nice. Yeah, I'm not a cheetah. I'm a lion. Okay, so that's cool. So yeah, I can retract my claws. That's helpful. We're in theme! That's cool that you knew that though, Danny. But yeah, so I can retract my claws. So I have like tools at my disposal in terms of like my own strength, which is enhanced a little bit because of my hybrid status, and my nails. And I'm not sure what other tools I would use. Like, I feel like they want me to have like a hammer hanging off my belt. And that's just not, I'm not like Bob the Builder, you know? Like, I'm not repairing stuff. I just have to be able to get into it. And I'm also not like, I'm kind of a path of least resistance scavenger. So if I can't get into something, I'm going to move on. Like, it's not worth my time. And if it is worth my time, I'll make a mental note of it and I'll come back later with people who can get into it. When you have a biologist on chat, that works. That is helpful.
Character seems to be very handy.
Yes, I'm handy.
Taking care of fabrics and stuff. They seem like somebody who would not be a fan of wearing clothing that's decaying in any way.
Correct.
But I feel like that is something that makes that post-apocalypse much clearer, unfortunately. But maybe it's just we need to add more things that are metal and put a little bit of like the wear onto the metallics, because if you're good at maintaining clothing, maybe you're not inherently hello computer,
the other thing that I want to mention is this is a very like limited snapshot of my character's life, of my life. I shouldn't say my, that's me. Talking about myself in third person is very weird, but this is a very limited snapshot. And something that would be true about me is that because I'm a scavenger, if something gets like really horribly ripped, I'm just gonna find a new piece of clothing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not in a place, it's not to the point where I have to keep mending stuff like to get its very last life out of it. Like, I'm not gonna waste it, but it's going to serve a different purpose than being worn on my body if it gets like ripped to such a state of disrepair. You know what I mean? So me wearing clothing that's is ripped in certain places, but like still feels very put together, is more reflective of the fact that I have the ability to just go find other clothing and have done that. So if I'm out and about and I found a piece of clothing that fits me better than something I'm already wearing, I might just switch it out right there. You know what I mean?
You guys able to see that? What is happening? It's like trying to manipulate windows that are behind where I'm drawing. What is going on?
Squiiji and their computer issues.
Oh, but even if you're good at maintaining fabric, maybe you're less good at maintaining metals. So like this metal has like rust and stuff on it. Yeah, can't easily buff out scratches. Yeah, I need some grunge from it.
That collar is not metal, by the way.
Instead of decayed, make it worn but repaired. That's true. We could add just like little signs of wear in the clothing too. We can tell that it's just like a little bit threadbare maybe.
This piece of advice I really liked, and it's something I thought of doing because I even just like the look of this. Like, having a little bit of fraying here and there, I think does make a lot of sense. The problem, like, I could just put a little rip in my hoodie, right? You know what I mean? The reason I don't want to do that, and EG's going to mention a lot of advice along these lines, like, oh, fray it up, is because I feel like that would be a waste of my time when a lot of the times for like fan art purposes, for commission purposes, designs are reduced more so anyway. Like, I already know somebody, they have like a rip. They're also kind of wearing a baggier shirt, and they have like a rip on their shirt. And most of the fan art I've seen of them, the artists don't include that rip. So I'm like, why build it into my design when people are going to most likely want to go the more symmetrical, simple route anyway. Because drawing in rips and stuff is just extra complexity, and people will do it. But if it's this small, I don't know if people would do it. And I don't want to put myself, I felt like something I learned from my previous design was you have to be thinking of the people who are going to use the design for other purposes besides you. So like I am streaming. That's how you guys see this design via me. I stream, so you see my visage, you see me in person, you interact with me. But when I hand over my design to artists, I'm like, hey, can you make a picture of me? Then they're using that design for a different purpose, and it needs to be something that works for them too. Because otherwise, like in my previous design, I would have to constantly like explain certain things. And even with this design, I have to constantly be telling people that my ears are not pointy. I get back a lot of art with like pointy cat ears, and I don't understand why that happens. Like it's not that I feel like they're being lazy, or like, I feel like there's just some weird disconnect where like they don't understand I'm a lion or something, because lions don't have pointy ears. So it's very baffling to me that I have to go after certain things like that all the time. Like, hey, by the way, my ears are round, my ears are round, my ears are round. So I feel like this would just become a fight. Like if I started putting little rips and stuff in my clothing and then never had it reflected in art, why do that? You know what I mean? So my design, while I wanted to do things like that and could have put them in, I didn't, because I don't think they're going to be taken into account anyway. Maybe if it was like more pronounced, like obviously they're not going to not draw this boob window, right? That's a more pronounced rip, or like the rips on my sleeves. But doing this little fraying, I don't know that that would be used. So while for good storytelling, I like it, for usability, I think that would just be a headache to me. And then I would constantly have to live in that battle of like, oh, do I mention it? Do I bring it up? Because I go after the round ears thing. I don't like getting art back that has pointy ears. I'm like, hey, can you make my ears round? But I don't know if I'd be like, hey, can you frame my clothing a little bit? Like, I don't know if that's a battle I would want to pick up all the time. So I just left it out because I didn't want to pick that battle. So I tried to make my rips more intentional in places where I felt like they would be automatically recognized more, than instead of doing this kind of like little stuff that I felt like would be more likely to be missed. You know what is a detail that people have religiously been getting accurate, and it's not even that important to me? This little whip of hair. This little whoop. That little hair that goes askew from the rest of my bangs. That one that I can't get to sit with all the other ones. Artists draw this little piece of hair religiously. Like I get some weird like representations of like my overall hair shape, but this little piece of hair, they're like, oh, we have to get that in. And I've never said that. That's never been a thing I've pointed out. I constantly have to tell artists to like make the ends of my hair darker, because my hair ends are a little bit darker. If you can see that, they're darker. And I have to point that out a lot, but I never have to point out this little swoop of hair. They all put that in, which I think is very funny.
Because for as much as you can repair and redo the seams, you can tell there's a little bit more age happening there. Similar, yeah, with patching, where if this person seems to be sort of fashion conscious, then if they're going to patch their clothing, they might want to do it in an interesting way. So I'm wondering if there might be a good opportunity for, what is it called? Sashiko? Is that the word?
I liked the idea of patching. I wasn't opposed to that.
Google.
I just feel like it would start looking cluttered.
Yeah, Sashiko, which is a Japanese style of repairing fabrics, but they do it by like reinforcing through interesting patterning, like this.
Oh, that is pretty.
It's reinforcing the fabric by adding stitching, but it looks interesting. It's making it into a fashion statement also. So that could be incorporated. Oh, those knives are still so neat. But that might be something that's nice. Also, if they're going to incorporate patterns, maybe it can be more in the sense of like appliques or appliques, however you say that word. I don't think I'm saying it right. You could have like graphics or parts of other shirts cut out and sewn in. Oh, the more that I'm thinking about this, the more I'm thinking about like alt fashion, where people
Actually, this is a thing that even I forget I did, but it was very intentional. Talking about having clothing items where stuff is sewn together. That's actually, I did that. These sleeves and this main hoodie body are not the same clothing item. Like right there, you can see the separation. So, but it doesn't, no one notices it. All these details I put effort into, no one notices. Because people are just like, oh, it's like a two-tone hoodie. No, it's like, I used to have hoodies, that's the baggiest piece of my clothing, right? So the arms are like the most at risk for getting snagged. Just like how the rest of my hoodie that was really baggy before, I had to cut it off because it was getting snagged. So I've already replaced these arms once. The hoodie used to be totally black, and I replaced the arms because they got snagged and so horribly worn. And now these gray arms are also getting really snagged and worn. But it's like, nobody understands that! Ah! Perhaps what I would be willing to do to make that more readable is make this like stitching here a little uglier so it looks like these are two separate pieces. Because there's no like stitching. Like I need to do, you know, I would need to do some of like this, right? Make it look stitched back. I'm very willing to do that because I want people to understand that I did have to, I'm going to write that one down. Because I think over time I'm slowly going to be putting some of this feedback into my design. And I want to keep track of it. Because I do think that right there, what I'm showing in the red, would be so helpful for people to understand that I did actually have to put some sleeves on a hoodie. And I think that would be track really well. But even I had forgotten that that's what I did with this shirt. I didn't even remember that. So I need to add that so people understand that. Stitching where hoodie arms and body were joined. Yeah, because that's a really good idea. It's not one that Squiiji's making, but they're making reference to it in the fact that they're suggesting I do like a patchwork kind of looking thing. I have a lot of real estate for patches, like right here, but this part of me wouldn't get snagged. Like this boob part of me got snagged because it's boobs, and boobs are inconvenient. But like this right here, I don't think this part of me would get snagged like that. Like I can believe if there was like a rip, like right here, like it just got ripped. Which I might do. But also, I do kind of like taking care of my clothes. So I could put stitching here or something. I'm not opposed to adding more stitching detail to my hoodie, is what I'm trying to say. So, like, these are good suggestions that EG's giving me. Like, making this look more grunged. But it's so grunged already with my sleeves, you know? Like, I feel like I've got grunge going on. So it becomes a point of like, how much do I need until I'm like selling the idea?
People will like sew together shirts where it's like, okay, this whole sleeve is actually a sleeve I've taken from another shirt.
It is.
Sewn on. Or like people will cut things or cut shirts in like weird shapes. Have you seen that? Where they'll have like a sweatshirt that's like a band sweatshirt. And they'll cut like the left half of the shirt off, like around the edge of the band logo, and then sew another half of a different like shirt or sweatshirt onto it. Like that could be really neat for fashion also, if this person is very fashion conscious. And then you can have like, yeah, like staining or other things happening on it that tell us that this is somewhere where we're, you know, getting down and we're getting, that's almost a bad phrase, we're getting dirty. I meant to say like we're getting down into like the like ground essentially, like we're getting into those dumpsters, getting into those buildings to get dirty, to get all the things we're scavenging out. And maybe that's
why the end of my sleeves are dirty. These sleeves are supposed to be pure light gray, but I do get very messy at my hand areas, so they're dirtier at the edges. That's already kind of a thing.
What this darker area here is meant to be is like some sort of staining.
Yep.
But if the pattern of it meandered a little bit more, that might help us to realize that that's staining and not just a gradient.
True. But I'm also a cat, and cats keep themselves very clean. So I don't like this idea of just having dirtiness to have dirtiness. I see why it's being suggested, but I feel like that's counter to other traits of myself, and it wouldn't happen like that. Like, this is just stained so... Like, I wash these clothing items, guys. I don't just walk around in dirty clothes. I wash them. But this is just, like, these particular parts of my hands are so dirty that they're stained like that.
Potentially. I almost said something that sounded very inappropriate. Let me just find that one artist. Go for it. Find an artist.
The other thing is, again, for the purposes of getting art commissions, I don't... The more you become asymmetric, the more likely it is that they're gonna miss details. And even, like, stuff so subtle as, like, just some dirtifying, I don't know that those would get picked up. I feel like that would get missed more often than not.
Artist. Bag made out of a bunch of little fabrics. Yeah! But just finding ways to convey the character's relationship with the world they live in. Because I will agree, unfortunately, right now, this feels very pieced together.
Oh, really?
Sense that it feels like you found this sort of like tech wear clothing for the lower half of the body, maybe on Booth, and then found other elements also on Booth and sort of were piecing them together, which
Not
is a totally
wrong.
fine thing to do. That's a good thing to do, even if you are trying to build an outfit and you are not somebody who personally can draw. It works. But the fact that there's not really a lot of overlap in color between the elements right now is not necessarily helping. If you had a lot more mismatching going on, then that would play up the fact that you are a scavenger and probably play up the fact that your character is piecing things together. And if you are piecemealing things together already from Booth or from somewhere else, that'd probably help more. Usually we are willing to accept things when we exaggerate them more. So exaggerate the difference between all the objects that are being worn more, and we'll probably accept it more too. Some ladders in the loose sleeves. I'm not putting ladders in there. We don't need ladders in here, no. Storage to carry tools and scavenged items. Yeah. So, like, there are these, like, harnesses that are being worn. But if the harnesses did have, like, bags or something attached to them, that'd probably be for the better also. Like, scratches in the material would be good. Yeah. Like, these more leathery materials would be the kind of thing where you can, like, have wear into the surface of them. Where, hang on. I don't really know. We probably want to look at a reference for what that looks like. I'm just drawing them light so we can see them. But even if it was like, we're just going to go like this and cut little notches out of some of these parts to edit.
You would never see those details. They would be really good for storytelling, but you're never, where is it? Where'd my cursor go? You're never gonna see that. I don't even see that piece of my body. Like, it's a good idea, but it's so nitpicky at that point. Like, it's not something that I feel like would give enough value. I do think it might be, well, yeah, I kind of agree with what EG's saying, where I don't have enough mismatch for it to sell correctly. I feel like the part of me you can see feels very mismatched and holy. But yeah, my lower half is like army surplus. So I feel like I would, instead of going the fraying route, because again, I don't think that part of my body is really going to get nicked by stuff, because I'm very agile. I'm a very agile creature. And these pants are built very well. And I could put little rips on them, but those would be overall meaningless to me, because that's something I don't think people would notice. If they're not noticing the bigger details of like how this hoodie doesn't even match my sleeves, and I have to like make that more prominent, I don't think people would notice stuff like this. I think that would be a waste of my time, unfortunately.
Them. So that way it's clearer that they're not as in great shape, maybe? And then also, you've got all of these that are in here. Maybe you could have ones that are ripped.
That would be a good idea.
that aren't in great shape, or if even some of the ones that are hanging down, this might be a good asymmetry opportunity. Is like, okay, well, what if this one has totally torn off and therefore this part of it is sitting down around the knee, maybe? Because you still like it as a part of your fashion and want to wear it. Or maybe it's still connected in the back, but it's torn off in the front.
I would be willing to lose one of these. We could do that. But I wouldn't have it hanging down here because that would be very in the way. I would rip it off. It would just be like ripped right here, you know? But I like having both of them. I like having the symmetry in this particular area.
From your hard work, maybe. Scratches or scars on the skin, that could also be an opportunity. I will say, for being somebody who is scavenging also, having your whole outside of your thigh out, that actually seems like one of the worst places to have exposed. I know that they said that this character needs to photosynthesize. So having the skin out is important for that, but I'm sort of feeling the quiet angle of the excuse to have skin on display because the skin is needed for the character to survive. Quiet needs to breathe through her skin. This character needs to photosynthesize through their skin. Practicality-wise, having the outside edge of your thigh exposed is just asking to get that scraped or, like, damaged on something. So if we really want that to be out, maybe we do need to lean into the fact that this is, like, a decision that's being made, but is, like, not helpful, where it's like, okay, well, here's all of the scars I've gotten from accidentally dragging my thigh against
Hi,
all of the
Digi.
structures we walk next to, potentially.
Okay, so unfortunately, I feel like these are good tips for anybody else but me. Because I feel like, unfortunately, something that really got lost in the feedback for this design is that I am a cat. So things like, oh, clumsily like scrape up against things, that's not accurate. Like, I definitely agree. Like, anybody else, if their thighs are exposed like this, they would be like torn up 100%, especially if you were a dog. Especially if you were a dog. But like, for me being a cat, I think I would only get this kind of damage if I was placed in an unintentional situation, which I think is less likely because I have agility and mobility and flexibility and all of that stuff. So I feel like not having damage here sells cat. Having damage there would sell scavenger. So then I'm back to this, like, which do I choose between? Do I pick to sell scavenger or do I pick to sell cat? You know? One of the things I was considering doing, for you guys to get a little sneak peek, I'll do it over here. I'll give you like the vision. One of the things I was considering doing, which I think would be very interesting, is actually having plants like growing out from my thighs. But I feel like that people wouldn't like that as much, you know? But I kind of liked the idea of it, or just some indication that I am photosynthesizing here. Like if I had kind of like green speckles when the sun was hitting it. I just had these ideas of like what I wanted to do here to more sell the idea. But it's so hard to be willing to put effort into the lower half of your body when that never gets shown on stream. It would only show up in like pretty fan art stuff. But yeah, I really wanted to do something like this. Like this, with like make it more obvious I'm photosynthesizing, because I want more leaves on my body. Like, I actually want to show you guys that it's not, leaf growth isn't limited to my top of my head. Like, I can grow leaves anywhere, and I feel like these would be really good places to grow them. And if I had leaves here, I would be willing to have the leaves be like ripped, like, oh no, this leaf got hurt, you know what I mean? Like, the leaves could be all frayed because they might scrape up against stuff, but my actual skin, I don't think I would have that issue. But plants growing from here could. I think it would look cool. What do you think? Do you think it would be too like body horror if I had leaves growing out of my thighs? Because I don't think scrapes on my thighs make as much sense to me as leaves. And I feel like the scrapes thing, like, Something that I feel like is also not translating as well is that my scavenging is not how do I want to say this? Is not as urgent as it is expressed in certain media formats, like a lot of sci-fi where the scavenging is like life or death. I'm kind of chilling. So I'm also less likely to get into a situation where I'm getting all scraped up because I'm not being hasty. Like, I'm taking my time. I'm kind of just having a fun time with it, like scrounging around in boxes and things, going, oh, finding stuff from the past and wondering what you guys used to use these things for. And I do actually spend, I'm a big cat. I'm lounging and relaxing a lot of the day. So I feel like having plant growth here would make more sense than having like scarring. And I think it'd be so cute. I want to put little plants on my thighs. I want to grow leaves from here. I want to grow leaves. I think it would be so cute. I'm stretching. Hold on. I think it looks cool though. I'm considering it. I'm gonna write it down. Leaves growing from thighs. And if I did that, I might be able to get away with less of a covering if I have, oh, no, that's wrong. If I have like foliage growing from here, you see what I'm saying? Just like hiding the pieces of my body that aren't supposed to be showing. Like if I just have big old honking leaves. You know? Oh, now we're fine. And I do want to get more green in my design because I'm very like plant-based, but it's not. Yeah, I'm vegan and plant-based, but it doesn't show through. And I think it'd be so cute to have stuff growing through the belts. I think that would look really cute. Ah! But I also think I might need help with that. So I feel like in some ways this outfit is incomplete. And I would consider doing a lot of that stuff over there. So instead of having like random yellow hiding this, I might have leaves. But I wouldn't want to have leaves on the backside. I think that would look, you know, I think that would look very strange to have leaves growing out of my hips in the back. I don't know. Maybe it would look fine. Let's let EG talk. Let's let EG talk.
Having an outfit that's easy to remove could be a better angle. Yeah, or like the top edge of your shoulders being out, I feel like is somewhere where like you're not as likely to just like ram that area of your body into something. Yeah, or like upper arms, even if it's like the forearms. I feel like we're better at keeping those areas of our body from harm, but the thigh, let me tell you, I am clumsy.
Come back from the dishes, your first thing you see is ass. Kind of. What do you think of this, guys? What do you think of me growing more leaves on my body? Because they're not just relinquished to coming out of my head. I can grow leaves like anywhere. And I feel like some of the places I'm I wouldn't want to grow leaves right between my boobs. That'd be weird. But I feel like some of the places where I photosynthesize would be great places to actually like be growing some more leaves. What do we think? I had like little leaves growing on my shoulder. Because I really want you guys to understand that I'm a plant as well as like a lion. I think it would be so cute. Ah! Have little leaves. But I don't want it to be weird, you know? I don't want it to be so much that it's weird. But I think that would sell the idea that I photosynthesize better if I had more leaves different places. I just feel like it might be a little weird. Plant, lion, person thing. Exactly. Exactly. Because right now EG's talking about me having like scarred up thighs. That's very anti how lions operate. They're only going to get scarred up like that if they were fighting. And I don't get into a lot of scraps like that, you know? I'm not like duking it out a lot. So the scarring that EG is suggesting I don't think is cohesive with my actual brand.
Not saying that this character is, but I'm clumsy, so I have a lot of data about what areas of the body tend to receive harm often. Man, We run our thighs and like hip area into things all the time, especially if you have wide hips.
I mean, that's true. I'm not gonna say I don't.
Yeah. Would midriff be safer for post-apocalyptic photosynthesis? I don't know if that would be safer either.
Yeah,
I am really not sure what to suggest. And like,
I did not want an exposed tummy. Tummy is covered. That's just, that would not be comfy. Like, I still need to be comfortable, guys. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna just wear clothes so that you guys understand what I'm about. I need to be comfy. And I didn't want the tum hanging out. That's uncomfy. No, tummy, you can see my tummy when I'm at the beach, okay? Tummy at the beach. No tummy while I'm scavenging. No. Because then my tummy would get all dusty. Like, one thing I would be willing to do with my thighs is make them a little, but I keep myself clean though. Like, I don't know, guys. I'm like, when we hang out, I'm very presentable. Like, I do get dirty, like filthy, you know, when I'm having a busy day and like I have dirt everywhere, but then I clean myself and I clean my clothes. So why do I have to walk around dirty for you guys to understand that I work? You know, that's like expecting a plumber a mechanic to just always have grease all over him or her. Like, why? Like, can we not understand? But that's the problem with character design. You know, like, if I was writing a story where you guys constantly saw me in my element, yeah, you'd see me very, like, dirty a lot. But we're hanging out. I'm not coming straight from, well, sometimes. But usually when I hang out with you guys, I've had time to prepare myself first, you know? Like, I put myself together a little bit. I don't just roll out here from one of my scavenging attempts all, like, dirtied up. I have some self-respect.
like the fact that for like, oh, scavenger, you're probably touching a lot of rusty stuff. You're probably touching a lot of things that have been damaged. Give me at least like one full glove. Because that's going to be something that has to do with functionality. One full glove. So that way your hand is not getting you tetanus constantly.
By the way, point of lore, because I am part citrus, I have a really high immunity to a lot of things, okay? I have plot armor against getting those types of sicknesses. We all know that doesn't always work entirely, because I get people sicknesses a lot. But, yeah. So that's unnecessary, and I also like being able to feel things. Like, I'm a very tactile communicator, and I like being able to touch stuff to know, like, if I want it. And if I had to constantly take a glove off and put it back on and take a glove off and put it, that would be so annoying. So I'm compromising here. I have a little bit for the protection, because EG's right. I can't just be, like, doing whatever. But for my digits, like, I need to be able to... And then if I had a full glove, even if just, like... I would even need just the tips to be cut off so I could actually extend my nails. Because I can't do this, because then I can't use my nails. Ugh! Sorry, EG.
Legs are covered in bruises despite wearing heavy pants from outside work. Yeah, even when the heavy pants are doing their best, you will still get bruised up. So, at least make an attempt to keep the body safe in that capacity, potentially also. This neck accessory is interesting. And it makes me wonder what it is. This almost reads like it might be some sort of mask, but I'm not sure.
Oh.
If it is, that could be interesting for conveying the fact that you're going into, like, old, dilapidated things or things that have been in disrepair. So I'm wondering if maybe you could tweak this into some sort of element that makes it clear that you're going...
That's totally off. It's not a mask at all. But that is an interesting read of the situation. You guys who knew it was like a tracker, you guys were spot on. Spot on. But then no, this is not, I can't put this on my face. It's not a mask.
Somewhere, and this is your protective gear, if this just has like a canister on the side of it for being, I don't know, suddenly this is a mask that you're wearing into your dilapidated facilities that you are taking the clothing out of. Yeah, we also need the lemon and lion hybrid. Yes, so in order of importance, we were sort of going on the futuristic, post-apocalyptic end first. Things tend to feel futuristic if you add fun little bright trims or having a lot of dark elements on them. The gas mask might help. with that also. But in order of importance, the scavenger angle, I think, needs to be more apparent. We're not really getting that specific context from your design right now. Second is the lioness. So you do read as some sort of animal with round ears, and I do think you could read as a lioness. You may just want to make your ears darker, because I think we associate lions with this color that is the ends of your hair. And if we added a little more contrast, that might help for your ears.
I think it just starts looking like
there we go.
A different creature.
Did they say something about not having a tail? No, they have a tail. You may want to just pose your tail a little bit differently. You can, in VRoid, when you're drawing the tail, just draw it on a mesh that puts it up here. So that way it's adding to the silhouette, and that way we can use that to also clarify your species a little bit more. So let me do this. And just darken them. This might make you feel a little bit like a bear, though, so I might have to see if there's something else. There we go. A little darker. Metal anyway? Neck metal, I'd say should be keeping it polished, but needs to have that rusty tinge so it doesn't have access to an oil that won't corrode it. Interesting. Welcome back, Boss Cake! But it doesn't slice through the scalp. Shave your head. That's the solution.
Yeah.
Shave your head. Also, if she's cutting her own hair and not doing it very well, it would probably be funny to have a lot more variety in the pieces sticking out. And that might also help us to understand the lion angle too, even if you're not more masculine than lion.
Yeah, but I'm not stupid, you know, like, why would I be cutting up here? That feels like an insult to my intelligence. Like, why would I I only cut kind of where I can reach, you know, and it's rough. Like, I don't have nice tools, but like, I wouldn't be cutting up here. Like, there's a very clear line of where I'm not really cutting above. I don't know if you can tell that, but like, having pieces up here, while it could look kind of cute, would just make me feel like I was selling an idea that I'm stupid and I don't know how to I don't know how to do things. I'm a smart, intelligent person. It's just hard to cut your own hair. But yeah, I don't really cut above this line. I like my haircut. I think it looks good. My bangs get in the way a lot though. But they grow fast. So you're seeing me in between haircuts right now.
Even if we're just pushing ever so slightly closer to a lion mane shape around the face, that might help just a little bit for us to understand what animal you are, potentially.
Well, I think what's starting to happen with the shape that EG's making is I'm moving away from lion, because lions have very sleek, lionesses have very sleek looks. And if I start adding if I start cutting my hair like this, that's far too mangy to me to read lion. But I guess I'm not, like, my opinion is not shared, I guess. Because if this reads lion to different people, that's news to me. Like, this doesn't read lion to me. This seems like a different creature. Something mangier.
Your hair is poorly cut. Yeah, too nice to be messily cut. More variety, and then same
too nice.
You could have like the ears have just like a couple little pieces of fur sticking out on them. Just a little messier. Just a little messier. Asymmetry time, yeah, just a little more asymmetry for the hair. Because I will say, yeah, this is completely symmetrical, other than your one little ahoge, which is the top of the lemon piece. Oh man, for trying to add the lemon angle in, that is another interesting challenge where I'm wondering if that could be something where we were talking about before, adding like patches to the clothing where it's like, okay, there's some sort of wear and tear or decay somewhere, and you could add that very directly in as some sort of decal where like this is something that has been sewn over.
Personally, I think that looks really bad and I would never do that. There would have to be a reason. At one point, I considered pushing the shape of the boob window to be more of like a lemon shape. Have it like cut a certain way to spread in a more lemon shape. I'm considering it. I haven't gotten rid of that thought. But having just random patches for the sake of having patches, I don't really want to do. I think that would be very counter to the functionality of my clothing. And that is not for me. That is not for me. It's a good idea, but I feel like that's more for the designs that are more eclectic in nature and just have random things everywhere to try to sell an idea.
The clothing over where there might be a hole or something. Or like you could even have different kinds of them where it's like, okay, well, this is a patch there. Here's a patch here that is like the slice of lemon where it has the little like lighter cutout pieces in it. You know what I mean? I'm not really doing a great job of drawing what a lemon looks like. No, give me the gold back. Or even if we just have it as like little decals throughout somewhere, that could help potentially. Yellow lipstick. Oh, that might be, yeah, too hard to find in Apocalypse. I don't know if we're finding yellow lipstick, but you know.
Oh, golly.
Wearing that. Spray paint lemon decals. That could be interesting. I agree. Lemon earring. That could also be interesting, maybe. A lot of these things would probably be quite hard to find in an apocalypse setting, but if we are assuming that this character, if it was a recent apocalypse or they were there before the apocalypse happened, maybe that would help. Bright yellow undercut for the hair could go with the vibes. Undercut, or do you just mean like an undercolor? Because you could put like bright yellow as a color inside the hair, because the hair also is one of the only things that currently contains a suggestion at the lemon thing, which is the little leaves on top. And like this could be a part of it. But if you're talking about like actually like shaving the head on some part to give an undercut in that way, that could also be interesting. Like that's a really botched haircut though, potentially, if you had to just go and full shave part of the head off. Yellow might be interesting though for bringing us more to the face. Underside. Oh yeah, underside. Yeah, yellow on the bottom. Yes, underneath. Shirt cut out to look like a lemon slice. That's true. The shirt cut out being a heart right now is not really very specific to the design. But we could make it. Let's draw a lemon. And then you could have like the leaf. Oh wait, where would I put the leaf? Hang on. Kind of not like we could have like a tear in it or something that looks like a leaf shape or something, but we don't want the tatas to be out.
No tatas out.
This is a lemon, I promise. This is shaped like a lemon. Or like maybe a lemon slice would be better somewhere too. This does not look anything like a lemon. Nice try, AG. A little like nub on it or something. There we go. Slay.
Not slay. Wait a minute.
That doesn't look like a lemon.
How would this little piece not be folding over? There's no way that this would, like, it doesn't, I don't hate the idea. I think it looks more like a grenade right now. But this little piece wouldn't, you just have full boob. Like, they're just, if my shirt was ripped that much, I'd just get a new shirt. Also, not to be like a super big hater, but I think this yellow undercoloring looks really bad, personally. I've seen undercolorings look really good. I don't like this. I'm not a fan. The other thing is that I almost intentionally did not put a lot of yellow in my base. I'm not wearing a lot of it because I like being around yellow. And if I'm super yellow and then I'm around yellow, I just blend in, and that's not, I want to be able to be around yellow. You know what I mean? So like if let's go back here. If I took some yellow, okay, and I was just like, boom, yellow, and then I made the background yellow, okay, that's very, you know. You see how these guys, it looks like really bad because they have so much color on them already. It's like, oh, that's so horrible. But like me, I can very comfortably be against the color yellow But if you start putting this yellow like all in my hair and stuff, now I can't be in yellow. You know what I mean? Like I would just start to disappear. So I actually intentionally wanted less yellow on me so that I could have yellow around me and it still look good. Versus my old designs, which had yellow on them and like forms of orange and stuff. But like when you actually put them against yellow, it looked really bad. And I wanted to look nice against my primary color, you know? So I have, my palette is set up to be more complementary against yellow versus like primary with yellow. And I do still have some yellow. See my shoes and my pants. They're still yellow, but I intentionally kind of wanted it to be less because I want to be able to be in, like, against yellow, you know? I don't know if that makes sense. That probably has nothing to do with design anything, but that's why I kind of wanted less yellow on me. And I think the way I would want to read more lemon is I don't think people need to understand lemon as much as they need to understand plant. Because my name is Lemon. You know, so I feel like if I did do the thing where I started adding more foliage, like leaves on me, that might make it make more sense. But they can't just be like clovers. You know what I mean? Like they'd have to be lemon leaves. I feel like I would want to be really specific about that, like the leaf shape. So that would require some research to see like what that looks like while it's growing. That might take a little bit of effort.
I'm sure it does not. Maybe a lemon slice would be better, where... Do you know how when people draw lemon slices? Let me just erase that nonsense I was doing. Where did it go? Hello? Turn that off. Get rid of this. Just fully redo this area here. Could have a cutout. Oh, this is like totally the wrong color. This could be hard to do. It's the texture. But you know, people represent a lemon and they do the like little bits where there's like the flesh where it does like this thing. Do you know what I mean?
That's cute.
Like that. That might be a little too subtle. But it does at least relate to a lemon shape. That's like more so the inside of a lemon shape. You could even have like seeds or something in there.
But one thing that bothers me about doing things like that is how would it get ripped like that? You know? I'm such a stickler for like story-driven detailing, and there's no story behind rips like that. Like how would that even happen? You know what I mean? Like that would be tailored that way. Someone would have to intentionally go in and cut like that, and I wouldn't do that. So because you lose the story element of whatever's going on here, I wouldn't want that particular element reflected in my design.
Petal, yeah, like petals, but I don't know if it's petals. On the grungy streetwear designer who uses old school sewing techniques and fabrics. Hell yeah, is it in the Discord? Oh, streetwear made with old techniques, quilting and ek to make it look older. Mutsu by PDF. Whoa, that's a crazy jacket. That's sick. Look at this jacket. It's a skull jacket, but do you see how there's all this overlap in the, just like in the fabrics? We can see the construction of the fabric. We can see all the stitching in the fabric, which is something that makes it feel aged and a little bit worn, and it feels stained. This is neat. Honestly, we should just look at that. Artists' design stuff's inspiration, but maybe that is something we need more of, is construction lines in the clothing where we can see that, like, you know, this has a front panel that's been repaired, and then here's the sewing for this hemline because you had to fix it because it used to be a hoodie at some point, and then, you know, there's structure happening in here, or just things like that can add a lot more. And even if it's like we can see edges of like things overlapping in a way that's not super like cleanly done, even too, that would help. Yeah, more texture. The lemons could be incorporated more into the clothing and into the hair maybe. I feel like the leaves, right now the angle they're at isn't helping them, but I feel like they could be exaggerated more so that we can see them more clearly. What is up with this?
I do like that idea because I often I get a lot of artists drawing my leaves like they're blades of grass, and I'm like, I've tried to put it on my ref sheet to make it more clear, but like I like the way they're growing for when I'm moving around and hanging out with you guys, but when they're still, yeah, it kind of gets lost in translation. People don't understand. So I've thought about doing stuff like that, like leaf angle stuff. I've thought about it. But this is the problem I get into where, like, for me existing, say, like, look how cute my leaves look right now when I'm, like, to the side. So I have to bias it based on how you guys are going to look at it most often. You're not going to see me from the front most often. You know what I mean? So if I did that, then from the side, they would look bad. Ah!
Yes. Hello? Fruit fly, can you leave me alone? Get off of my tablet. Okay, too slow. Too slow, fruit fly. Sorry, I don't show any remorse for fruit flies. Scars could look like a lemon. Scars could look like a lemon. What other lemon motifs could I add? I know citrus was a pretty popular pattern recently. And this is like too silly, but like if, you know, you're a scavenger, maybe you need like protective wear in the terms of like goggles or something where, you know, you wear your goggles that have a big round shapes on top of the head or something. But then you could have the lenses look like lemons, or even if they were gold on the inside of them, you could then have that even reference this sort of shape too, where you've got the, how does that even work? I think it's lighter. Nope. Hang on, be brighter. Hang on. I know what I'm doing. Go like this, rind, and then you have the, like, this pattern happening inside of it. I'm not doing a great job of drawing it. Do you know what I mean? Yellow tinted lenses, but then with, like, the thing where you can see, like, the pulp inside of the lemon as, like, a subtle pattern on it even, but maybe they just can be gold also, something like that. Or, like, they could be gold and have, I don't know, you have something tied around it, around one of the sides that is like a ribbon or something, so that way we get the green here also potentially. Reminds me of hold on, hang on, I'm holding, I'm slipping, I'm falling, Amber. What am I holding for? Maybe freckles, lemon eye highlights, lemon slice earring. Yeah, there's a lot of things that could potentially push us in that direction. None of these are maybe the right color.
I really liked the goggle idea. I thought that was a cool idea. I do have enhanced vision as a lion. But in terms of like not getting stuff in my eyes and having something to be like I could wear on my head, I just wouldn't want it to conflict with my ears. That's a problem I have because when I've tried to wear things on my head, they get in the way. But goggles isn't a bad idea. That would work kind of like a headband. That could be kind of cool.
Either. But little lemon things to add in to the aesthetic potential.
They kind of look like swim goggles though.
Because I think I've said the bulk of what I think needs to be said here. Conceptually.
Ooh, yeah, okay. I'm gonna we don't need to listen to this part because this is just the grade I get. I mean, I'm gonna react to it so you guys get the full reaction. But EG does give a little bit more advice while doing this grading section. This is just how they wrap up their boot camp streams by giving their final thoughts as their graphic design like grade. So here's my grade, guys. Ready to see how I got graded? My class at school.
Yeah, I think that's the bulk of what needs modified is we're not really getting a lot of the concept angles here potentially. Oh, Peanut Bun, thank you for raiding. Hello. Hey, Shroommates. You know the drill. Rotate at them, I say rather menacingly. Thank you, mods, for getting the shout out. Peanut Bun was last seen streaming art? Oh? Is that true? Peanut Bun was last seen streaming art, perhaps? Also, hi, I'm Squiiji. I forgot to introduce myself. Pro streamer EG, who's been doing this for a year. Forgot to introduce myself. Hi, I'm Squiiji. Freelance artist fungi, art educator. Also, design critiquer. Today we are looking at 3D VTubers, although we're about to look at a character who is not 3D after this one. But mostly we've been looking at 3D fellas today. having a good time, generally. I'm a 3D modeler, so I've been enjoying getting to look at some 3D models also. Yes, I was arting. Oh.
Whoa. Big
Peanut
Squiiji.
Butter knows the drill at this point. But hey, shrewmates. Hey, shrewmates. We can make demands gently of, hey, would you like to maybe pay art tax? Maybe, please. Would you like to? If you'd like to. If you'd like to show us what you're working on, you're welcome to do so. If you're not feeling up to it, you don't have to, but if you'd like to pay art tax, we love to snoop. We would love to see what you were up to. I'm grading right now, so I'm gonna grade before I forget that I was grading. What was I grading? What was I grading? What was I grading? Great question. For the pupils were leaves too to look like those slit cat pupils. Ah, that's an interesting idea. That might be hard to see from a distance, but you're right that that might be interesting.
Whoa.
Leaf. There we go. Yeah. Yes.
I don't know why, but I don't resonate with the cat pupil eyes. I don't like them. And lions don't have them. Lions don't have the cat slit eyes like that.
I see. I'm with you. With you, Hoshi. And that'll help us also prevent the ears being rounded, reading as bear, potentially. But lion! Big cats have round pupils! Oh no, do they?
Yeah, exactly. Big cats have round pupils. Also, why do people think I'm a bear when I'm blonde? Blonde and round equals bear? I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I feel like blonde, round, lion. I don't get anyone else who thinks differently. I feel like I look like a lion. Ah! But it's okay. People never really understand what I am. I get mistaken a lot for my identity. People get confused a lot.
Do they have round pupils? Whoops! Might have been a cool idea. Now that I think about it, I don't know if I've ever actually looked at a lion in the eye for very long. But here's one of those things where we can say, is it more important for it to look like a cat? Maybe.
I think cat would just... Hold on. I don't want to talk over EG. I think the more I tried to push my design to cat to make it so people didn't think I was a bear, the more likely it would be I get pointy ears. I would rather they think I'm a bear and give me round ears than think I'm a cat and give me pointy ears, to be honest.
That's tough. Lions have dark ear tips. Oh, okay. That might also help if lions have dark ear tips. Okay, hang on. Bear with me.
I do have dark ear tips.
Oh, multiply. No bears, actually. There's no bears with me. It's just lions. Let's just do a little bit of this, and then I'll make it lighter because this is too strong. But then we'll distribute a little bit of those darker browns a little bit more around. Is that more lion-like? I think that actually is more lion-like immediately, yeah. Domestic cats have the slit, but others have round. Why is that? Why do domestic cats have slit pupils, but others don't? Why did that happen?
Whoa.
Thank you for spinning me. I'm a little dizzy now. Why did that happen, though? How did we selectively breed domestic cats to have that happening? That's interesting. I would love to know. Whites of a lion's eyes are also black. Oh, that could also be interesting. That might feel like it's pushing this in a slightly different direction. But it seemed like this character is very not human in terms of both being a plant and a lion.
So
that
scary.
Might also further convey that if they are open-minded to that as an option. I don't think that makes them look more lion-like.
I think I would scare you guys. if my scleras were black, I think you guys would be scared. I don't think that would be a good idea.
Unfortunately, though. But it could be an option. Oh, Moobot! Hey, guys, can you shake Moobot at us? Or, please? Moobot. Oh, you hasn't even said Moobot, I swear! It's from Twitter! Twitter is allowed! Moobot! Jostle Moobot. We have an emote now for jostling Moobot. Jostle Moobot. Get shaken. There we go. I love this wall of shaking. Moobot, what have you done? Why do you always do this? Oh, is this more work on your mascot? Is this more work on your mascot? Peanut Fun? Look how cute. This is definitely very Sonic inspired. Big old feet. No clothing other than a bandana. Little halo. Look how cute. Repents their crimes.
Skipping ahead.
Where these are fire goggles, I think.
Ooh.
Yeah, flat.
Yeah, so they brought up this image of goggles for like a shape. I like these. Can you imagine me wearing those? Right on my head? Right leg here? Boom. Goggles. I think that's a fire shape. And then I would like make the little slits be more lemony feeling. I considered wearing goggles, but I feel like that's so cliche to have the scavenger character wear goggles, but when I'm trying to sell an idea, maybe you just like cliche is the way to go. Goggles with lemon slits. Adding to my notes.
Goggles, yes. From World War... Are these World War II ones? I don't know if these are World War II ones, but flak goggles might be interesting.
What about soldering sort of like... goggles? Look how cool these ones are, though. Aren't these goggles so cool? Like the shape? Because I wouldn't... Here's the thing. I'm trying to think of, like, what I would need them for. And it's not really, like... I wouldn't need them to block the, like, bright lights necessarily. I mean, yeah, before I fully commit to, like, the goggle thing, I would need a use for them. And I'm, like, the most I can think of now is sometimes when I go into certain rooms looking for stuff, it gets quite dusty. Like, you open up, you know, you move something out of the way and it's like a dust cloud. Which these wouldn't, that's not entirely helpful in that situation. I feel like the goggles I would need would probably need to be more, like, clear. Because this is, like, shrapnel concerns, right? Like, you're trying to keep physical objects out of your eye. So the viewports are really thin to make it less likely that stuff will hit your eye. Running and high altitude. High altitude's not an issue. I'm not really... I mean, sometimes I like to sit on the tops of buildings. I'll climb up there and like look over the city. And I do run pretty fast. That's also true. But that's not a problem for me because I'm a lion. Like, I'm already built to do that. I can already do that. So yeah, I feel like goggles are help like the human side of weaknesses, but I'm already accommodating that because I'm a big cat. So yeah, I like the idea of goggles, but I don't want just random design things. I want stuff that would make sense that I would actually use. So I don't know. I don't know if goggles are a thing that I would like actually... I don't know if I would need that. I mean, I suppose there's always the concern of me like walking into a room that's, you know, that's kind of precariously laid out and stuff could like fall on me. That'd be a concern, but I wouldn't be wearing them all the time. I don't know. I'll think about it. I will think about it.
Slitting happening in it could be made to be shaped more lemon-y. It could be interesting. They are? Hell yeah. Look at me. I know a little history. Just a little history. Second is World War II. Okay, so not this one. Not World War II. This one's World War II. Look how cool these are. These are neat for goggles, though. What do flak goggles do? Were they just so that you didn't get hit in the eye with, like, shrapnel? Or was it for fire or something? I forget what the point of them was. But yeah, they've got, like, all kinds of funky shapes going on with them. I don't know. Other small cats have slit pupils, but larger cats don't. Prey types. Oh, interesting. Okay, for shrapnel. Ah. I would bet that these goggles also potentially work really well if you don't have lenses. They probably also work really well for cutting down on sun exposure to your eyes, too. Because, yeah, Inuit snow goggles also use that sort of, like, slit shape to minimize the amount of light that's hitting your eyes. So if you're a scavenger and you don't have access to lenses, because I feel like glass is something that's probably a commodity, not an easy commodity, at least in the future, in the apocalypse, this might also be a good option for that. That's neat. That's a good suggestion, Amber. Thank you. We've had some really good suggestions today, which I'm very thankful for. I'm so glad that the hive mind of the shroom state is so prolific. You guys always have good ideas for things that I would have never even found or thought of. Love flat goggles. They do look really cool. But yeah, they're a little bit creepy, but also goofy, but also so fun. So, kinds of motifs. Push it more. I think you're right in that it's not reading a ton from a distance, unfortunately. For color palette, I think that your color palette is lacking in harmony right now, where a lot of the colors were only existing in that one isolated place, where that yellow was only in the pants, the brown was only in the chest, the green is only on the top of the head. And for somebody whose outfit is a little bit more piecemealed together, I feel like having a lot more colors distributed like that, or just distributing those colors more, would help. So we had sort of edited that by bringing the gold up to the upper body. Maybe the green needs distributed to more of the lower body. The brown coming up to the tips of the ears or to a glove would be good. But we need more harmony across the whole design as far as colors go. For silhouette, you're very symmetrical. We didn't draw a ladder. Let me do a ladder. Oops.
Symmetry.
Let's do a ladder test. Look, my first ladder that I'm drawing before grading today. Are you proud of me? I don't know if these would probably count as something. Let's see. Some of these are kind of hard to figure out where I want to place them. Surprisingly, your ladder is not that climbable, despite being so symmetrical. Big gap in the legs, a little bit of clustering up around the face. But some of the details that we were adding through our edits, I think, are helping to make that ladder have even more variety. But we do just need a little bit more asymmetry too, especially in an apocalypse. Symmetry does not make sense. So, more asymmetry, please. And more things that are impacting your silhouette. I don't know if I even actually recommended much that was impacting the silhouette, but right now your silhouette, if I just go like this, you're on a white background, so I might be able to if I go like this. Hello, is it selecting? Oh, it is. There we go. If I go like this and invert it, let's see. There we go. That's what your silhouette is. This is not especially distinct.
Boom! My silhouette. I don't like asymmetry. Hurts my brain. I have like subtle asymmetry, but yeah, in general, it's not very asymmetrical.
The ears add something, and your little sprouts add a little bit too, but we need more variety. Even if these little like lacings across the outside of the arm were looser, or if they had like things dangling down off of them, I'm talking about adding knee pads or making it so that one of these straps around the thigh had like broken off and was hanging around the knee. Those things will all help with the silhouette. So, silhouette needs a little bit of work. Complexity versus clarity, I think we were yearning for a little bit more detail, but you'd probably plushify pretty easily without trouble.
Yeah.
And then focal point.
Ooh, I want to talk about what she just said. The other reason I try to keep my details simple in general is because E.G. talks about this thing like plushification. So like if your visage is simple enough so that you could be turned into a plushie. And the most complicated I get is like, where did it go? Is like in my belts area. This is very, oh, hey. Drawing pad? No? Maybe? We're thinking about it? Drawing pad. It doesn't want to come back up. No! But it's very like in my midsection, my thigh section, there's a lot of belts, and that's really hard for. Here we go. This part is the worst for plushification. This part right here, all these belts. I basically have to go down to like a single belt. But that's one of the reasons I wanted to keep things simple, because I like for having like chibi and emotes and all that kind of stuff. It's really, the more details you have, the harder it is to to make it look like you when you have to change so many of the details just to get the design across. That's one of the things I really liked about my OG designs and my previous design. This casual design that we just retired was really simple. Very simple color palette. Very simple clothing. It plushified really well. My current design does not plushify really well, but it is pretty simple. I didn't want a bunch of random stuff going on with it. Okay, get rid of that. Continue, EG.
What is the focal point? Just like real quick.
We turning Lem into a marketable plushie?
What is that?
We turning Lem into a marketable plushie, you ask? I would love that, actually. I don't think that's a thing that's gonna happen, but that would be super fun. Can you imagine me as a little plush? Me as a little guy, a little plush. Could be cute. I like the idea.
The focal point for you? Because for me, the focal point is either the bright yellow on the shoes or around the thigh, or it's the center of the chest.
Yeah, to me, my focal point is my boobs. Because I have all this dark, and then I have my boobs, and it's like gray, like lighter in the midst of all this like lack of color. We have color. And I feel like my head is kind of a focal point above that, but because I'm against white, it doesn't show up. Like in my natural habitat, I think my head is definitely the focal point because it's the lightest part of me, which stands out really well against the dark. So like if I get rid of, nope. If I get rid of this, like you look at my head, right? Because that's where all the light stuff is. So in context, I think my focal point is correct, but out of context, yeah, I think everyone's encouraged to look at my boobs. Which, you know, if that's what happens, that's, you know, what are we gonna say?
Which is odd because the hair being so bright should make it more focal. And I'm wondering if this is a circumstance where if I just go like this, hang on, bear with me. Ooh, where are my things? Give me this. I'm wondering if we just need to make the background a neutral color. A color that's not white, and then the head will stand out a lot more. Like if I just pick a... Ooh, it's like, take me a second to...
Need an anti-hero for your world? Nope. Just did my self-insert. Oh, okay, that's cool. Just so you know, none of your self-inserts are like canon, but I do like the idea of you like toying and playing around with the idea of where you would fit in my world. But yeah, the self-insert stuff is not canon and wouldn't really be reflected in my actual lore. But I'm interested to read what you have. Like how you see yourself fitting into the post-apocalyptic sided dystopian reality of factioned hybrid humanity. It's kind of cool, right? But yeah, there's no like heroes. There's just like the fringes of humanity versus the alien species that has invaded our planet. And we don't really have the capacity to fight them. We are very under manpowered. We've tried. It was just a quick small thingy. Oh, okay. Ooh, let me guess. You're a wolf. Let me guess. You're a wolf. I'll read it after we're done looking at what EG's talking about.
Select all of these. Okay. Get these ones. The harder I have to work to make the selection for a silhouette, usually the stronger the silhouette is. It's like maybe a little more here. There we go. If I go like this, and then... Where's my fill bucket? There we go.
Ta-da!
Put you on a slightly darker background. Ooh, I like almost exactly match that to the color of your sleeves. That's not helpful. There. On a darker background, your head does become more focal because it's the brightest color. So that does help a decent bit. But we do need a little bit more. Look at the brown, because it's not like color. Everything is pale or really dark neutral. Yeah, that's also true. Let's see if the edits we had made... Whoa! Wherever the glares. Were helping? I don't know if they actually are. The head needs to be more focal. And it might just also be that the eyes need to be brighter. The eyes right now aren't very saturated. So we added some saturation on the underside of the hair. Let me just add saturation in the eyes. And we're gonna put them full saturation. Whoa. That actually didn't change a lot. Hang on, let me try something else. Color. If I shift the color more blue in the darker parts, because there's not a lot of blue anywhere else. Yeah, that's helping bring me into the eyes a little bit more too there, yeah. Green eyes, yellow pupils, yes. Yeah, brighter lime green. Adding a little bit of blue to the undertone of it, I think is also helping. We can also maybe brighten the scleras just a little bit too. Add glow, because right now they're pretty gray, surprisingly.
Yeah, that was...
Them, like, I'm not gonna make them...
The gray scleras is just like the rendering. My eyes are pretty white. They're normally eye colored.
This bright. This is just so I can see. Hang on. Like, that's sort of a level of brightness to be expected, but now the eyes are going to pop more from a distance too. So yeah, there we go. Face is more focal. It wasn't especially focal before, just because of contrast being higher in other areas and having colors that appear more exclusively in other places. But I did put you in the fridge because I did still think you were very cute.
I'm on the fridge!
You've done a good job at modifying the VRoid face especially to make it seem like you are not a VRoid model also. That is all.
I'm a big stickler about that as well. If I'm such a I don't know what the word is. Proponent? That seems too big of a word. There's a smaller word. I'm a big supporter. That's the word I wanted. I'm a big supporter of people making their own 3D models and using VRoid. I love using VRoid. But I think I really encourage people to move away from the basic textures as much as possible because they have like a cheap feel. So when I see models, when you're like immediately like, oh, that's a VRoid, I feel like that has a negative stigma to it versus like what Squiiji's saying, I tried really hard for me to make it my own and to not look default. Like that's the if you're gonna make a VRoid, if you're gonna do anything with a customizable model, you want it to not feel like it was default. And I think I did a pretty good job with that.
Often what we are working against with VRoid models is we're trying to make VRoid models seem like they're not VRoid models. Because unfortunately, I wish this wasn't the case, but unfortunately there has been historically sort of a, like people don't think fondly about VRoid models, and it's just because they tend to look very similar to each other. I think that's all it is, but the more we can differentiate ourselves from each other via making the silhouettes more exaggerated, making the clothing feel more consistent within itself, making the clothing have more layering, more effort into the textures, that makes them feel, yeah, less cheap and less similar to each other, and I think that that is where VRoid models tend to shine the greatest, is the more time that's put into them. Do you have any general advice on VRoid silhouettes? My general advice is more layering, and that all of the sliders are just suggestions. All of the sliders in VRoid that you use to control the clothes silhouette are suggestions. You can make them go below the minimum number and go above the maximum number.
This is true, and I use that a lot actually when I'm editing stuff. It's a very easy way to make default items look custom. Ooh, Danny, what language are you trying to learn right now? I've never used Duolingo personally, but I know that the app can be kind of antagonistic to its user base.
And try and change them a lot from their base values. That usually tends to make them feel more specific. And then also, in VRoid, you can layer things. So like this, if it had, let me just put this on top. If it was clear that this was a separate layer, because you made this on a separate piece of clothing in VRoid where it has this little lip here, that already makes it feel less like a VRoid model, because one of the things people tend to associate with VRoid models is all of the texture for the clothing being painted onto one, like, flat mesh. But we don't have to do that anymore. Yeah. And then also on top of that, Blender! We can use Blender to modify those silhouettes even more, where I know that in VRoid as it is, it can be really hard to get weight to sit in really specific places where you want it. But like if we wanted these sleeves to feel heavier down here, there's probably already enough loops to support it. And with a couple seconds in Blender, just using the sculpt tools, you can probably inflate those out the way that you would like. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think those are my suggestions here. Now, I think it's Mad Bun's turn. Let's see. Mad Bun said that this mission was sent.
There's like 2 more seconds. I do want to talk about something briefly about the weight of the clothing, though. I do like that idea. Unfortunately, the only time you really see my arms is when I'm holding them up, and in that case, the weight wouldn't hang there. So, because I don't have weighted sleeves, it makes more sense to not make weight gather there just because you only see my arms when they're up. So yeah, it's really hard doing design versus context.
Just let me refresh my form, and then I will hunt through here. Mad Buns, are you still here? Was I quick enough that you hadn't had to leave yet, or was I too slow? It's 5
Let's
o'clock.
see.
Just in time for me to leave? No! No! Wait, add up numbers. Oh, you're right. I didn't add up the numbers.
Oh yeah, my score.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5, 6.5. I think that it's just, there's a lot of harmony things happening right now where once you solve the harmony aspect and the concept aspect, I think that'll do a lot for increasing the numbers here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5, 6.5. Yeah, sorry. I counted and then forgot immediately what number I'd gotten to.
Whoa! I got a 6.5. Boom! There you go. That was my score. That was the final 6.5 out of 10. D+. Yeah! But yeah, I'm glad you guys like my design. I like my design. I like the little bit of yellow that shows up on my sleeves. I feel like I blend in really nicely with the world I knew I lived in. Makes me happy. Not even a 6.7. Nope. 6.5. But yeah, thank you so much to EG for doing that. Let me see if I can shout out EG's Twitch channel. Is this it? We're gonna find out. Nope, that was wrong. Don't join us in following Squiiji. Their channel isn't called that. Dismiss that. What's their channel called? No! I'm gonna find them. Hold on. I mean, you can go see who Squiiji is, I guess. I knew that was a bad idea. Don't shout out random people, guys. That's not a good idea. I think it's... Oh, Squiiji 3D. Hold on. Okay. It's Squiiji 3D. Okay. I don't know if I can shout them out immediately. Yeah, I gotta wait. Okay, when the time goes up, we're gonna shout out the correct person. But I will say that when I post this VOD to YouTube, I will be linking Squiiji's video that is also on YouTube that has all of the reviews and stuff, so you can go watch that full thing if you wanted to see more of it, and find Squiiji's YouTube channel as well. Okay, so, yeah, so there's a lot of stuff that I'm thinking about for my design. I've taken a couple notes for myself, and then you might see some of those things reflected in my, overall design at some point. Squiiji. Yeah. Okay, so that stuff is really cool, and hopefully that gave you more of an idea of like what I'm doing, like where I am coming from, kind of the world I live in, you know, stuff like that. And hopefully that is inspiring some questions you might want to ask whether it's like over here, depending on what platform you're on, wherever the linked comment is, the pinned comment, I mean. But yeah, so at some point this week, we're going to do an Ask Me Anything. And if you had any questions based on my design, my lore, my world, my interests, anything like that, you can throw them into my Marshmallow anonymous question receiver, and then we'll go through those on stream, and it'll be really cool, and we'll build a puzzle at the same time. So that's forecasted as the next stream coming up. We'll see when that happens. I kind of wanted to do it tonight and do like 2 streams one day. I don't know if that'll end up happening. I kind of like doing this morning stream thing. It kind of feels nice. So we might do the puzzle stream tomorrow. I don't know. Well, I'm going off the seat of my pants. We'll see whatever feels good. But I did say that I would look at what Danny wrote for their self-insert. So let me see. Let me see what Danny did for their self-insert. Oh yeah, I still have that channel. But the stench of blood. Oh my golly. Dude. It's interesting that you mention killing people, because I feel like in my actual world that's not really a thing, because hybrid situation, I feel like that's definitely viewed as cannibalism, and it's something that I've been exploring for my own writing for my lore, if there are hybrids that are more animal than human at this point. I don't know if we're really that far evolutionarily, but yeah, anybody who's a predator is not eating human flesh in my world. They are still hunting regular animals, eating animal flesh. But yeah, there's definitely a place for that kind of thinking in my world. I just don't think you would get along with anybody else here right now. I think you would probably be shunned, because there's so few humans already. I feel like there's not really a big enough pool of like prey for you if you're like a human eater in this world. There's not a lot of humans, and I feel like you would probably be less likely to be able to, depending on what their hybrid situation was. Like if you were trying to eat me, I don't think that would go over well. That's what I was going for. That you eat people? Or that you're like losing yourself? Because there's not really like, I'm pretty sure that would be viewed as like hard cannibalism, at least in my community. There might be other communities around the world that are still alive. I'm like, I haven't been everywhere. You know what I mean? Like it's a big place. The world is a big place. The fact that the forest was gone and I had to do the unthinkable, it's not gone. There's way more forest. There's like way more forest now. It's taking over the cities. Way more forest. The place the industrialism shows up mostly in my world now is at the Cyanid bases, the alien bases. They're the most technologically advanced thing on the planet right now. Everybody else is like Dark Ages primitive technology. The one I lived was taken by someone else. The whole forest? Someone took the whole forest? Whoa. But yeah, if you have any questions about my lore, or like things you want to know a little bit more about, ask me the questions for my AMA. Submit your anonymous questions and I will answer them. And we can talk about other things in my lore that I think are very interesting. Like how the terraforming is growing. But yeah, technology is not really a thing in my world. How we're communicating right now is very strange. I don't even totally understand how it's working. Because we don't have electricity. We don't have like flashlight, like battery powered stuff is not really a thing. This tracker is very like analog old tech. It's not very fancy stuff. Totally will do. Okay. Yeah, let me see if I can shout out Squiiji correctly now. I really thought Squiiji had the name Squiiji on Twitch. Squiiji 3D. This should be correct now. There! With their cute little profile picture and everything. Yeah, go follow Squiiji 3D. I wonder if they want the 3D in their name, or if they would prefer to have the regular Squiiji. I don't know. Y'all know that I would like to get rid of the X's in my name. I don't like those being there. But yeah, go follow Squiiji. They do really cool concept art reviewing. They do it for different games too. So if you like want to see them talk about the character design in ZZZ or in, I don't know, some waifu game, they do that every once in a while. It's really cool. It's nice stuff to listen to. Helpful. It's helpful information. But yeah, okay. Speaking of cool people to follow, let me see if there's anyone I would send you to this early in the morning. Do we have people doing things? Oh, we do have someone who's actually playing Genshin. Stop it. No ad breaks. Ooh, I could send you to some Final Fantasy. I feel like we're enjoying some of the hype from the announcements, right? Do we want to go see some Final Fantasy? Go visit someone we haven't seen in a while? They're trying to finish 6.55. I don't know where that is in the game. So we could do that. Now with Shadowbringers included? Yeah, I saw that! The free trial includes Shadowbringers now. That's crazy! They give us so much for free! Oh, Endwalker. Yeah. I knew what you were talking about, but yeah. Yeah, let's go say hello. Let's go say hello and see how they're doing. I can't stay for too long because I would get spoiled. But if you guys have seen, and you're just kind of like reminiscing while you wait for the Evercold update, that's cool. So yeah, let's go say hi to Eldritch Wawa. Let me set that up for you guys, and then I will wish you a wonderful rest of your day. You know the drill. Ba-da-ba-ba! Scrapes! If you're coming on this raid with us, you can use our new raid message! Downloading Zest! Kinda cool stuff. But yeah, thanks for joining me today. I hope that was informative. We kind of just like word saladed over my design and things I've been thinking about. But that's me. That's where I came from. Those are my humble beginnings and thought processes. Very meta thinking. But yeah, I really appreciate that Squiiji reviewed my design and gave me all that feedback. That was really cool. It's helpful to know how other people perceive your design like that. But yeah, so streams coming up probably include our AMA and puzzle stream, and then I want to do an art stream. I think I'm definitely going to be switching up some of the things I said I was doing this week. So just keep in touch with my socials, my Discord. You'll see where I'm going, what we're going to be up to. But yeah, this was really fun. Thanks for joining me for kind of out of time little meeting for the morning. And let's go say hi to Eldritch Wawa, and I hope you have a rest of your day. Yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and that I see you again soon. Bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye for now.